May God's peace and blessings be upon us all. The time has come for the people of God to speak to the people of God. God's holy word is a biblical perspective on the times and the events of today, where we entertain you, we educate you, and most of all, we attempt to evangelize you. God's holy word is the new and the true media. We are independent media, which means that we will always tell you the truth because we are not paid propagandists. We are not paid traditional news, so we are not paid to tell you uh, the truth or the story from a slanted version or from a paid perspective. So at this time, I would ask that you please like, share, and subscribe because if you share the know, then the show will grow. And if you share the know, then the word will go. And on today's topic, I wanted to present to us a topic as a question, and then I would like to give a rebuttal to or a response to a response to a response. Can we, as Christian believers, can the body of Christ, can we amongst ourselves, can Christians disagree? And my answer is respectfully, I do. And this is more of a response to the Allie Beths of the world. This is a response to the April Chapmans of the world. And this is a response to the Be Smart Christian Corey Miners of the world. Um, these guys do a pretty decent job on a lot of their content. A lot of the things that they say are factual, but a lot of the things that they say, I feel as though they kind of missed the boat on the conversation because even though some of the things that they say can be proven and taken literally to be factual, you have to always go back and explore the source or the cause or the initiality or where did this thinking and where did this process come from before you can judge the outcome at the end. And what I mean by that is that there was a conversation that was had by um, this white lady, Caucasian lady. I think her name is Allie Beth. She was having a conversation with another guest on her show, and they were talking about the prosperity preaching and how they felt as though prosperity preaching was in the majority of the black churches. And my issue with it is what she said, what her and her guest said, and then April Chapman came behind them and backed it up and said most. And then Corey Minor came behind her and backed it up and said most also. I'm not sure in what order they came, but I do know that Allie Beth came first. But my issue with that is that when you use the word most, you are broad brushing everyone. And I myself, only just speaking for myself, I can personally speak of the fact that um, I preach in some small town churches in South Georgia. And I know down in that area of Georgia, the more rural part of the state, I know that there are 20 to 50 uh, churches that I personally know about that are down that way. And I've been to many of those sermons, and I've been to many of those churches. I've listened to many of those preachers. And out of those 20 to 50 or so churches, I cannot account for one of those churches being a prosperity preaching church, which is why I have an issue with anyone whenever they speak out of their mouth and say most, because by saying most, you are initially and always accumulating everyone together. So you're broad brushing preachers and pastors out here who are doing good work and doing good ministry and preaching sound doctrine. You are broad brushing those people in the same category with your prosperity preachers by simply using the word most. And I think that is where my biggest issue is with them, is that these three individuals, even though we agree on many things as it pertains to the gospel, um, we agree to a certain extent on some of the things that they said because two things can be true. They were speaking about prosperity preaching in the black church. Prosperity preaching in the black church, yes, it is prevalent in the black church. Many is the wrong word to use for it. Not most is a better word to use for, or just some churches are preaching prosperity preaching. But let us also remember that it is prevalent in every other church also. Every other race, prosperity preaching is also prevalent there. If you go to Latino churches, there's prosperity preaching there. If you go to Asian churches, there's prosperity preaching there. If you go to white churches, majority white churches, there is prosperity preaching there. And yet, amongst the three of you, you would never say or even speak on that scenario. You would never even speak on that side of prosperity preaching, which I think is what initially got you three guys all of this hit back and kickback and all of the people turning on you because of the simple fact that they are noticing that you guys give that slanted, got that slant on the story. You see, as with many people who are, sometimes what I consider to be paid propagandists, you got to slant, you got to throw that black thing slant in there. You have to throw that black thing slant in there. Seems as though that when it becomes mainstream, when you blow it up and it's seen all over the screen, when they blow it up and it's seen all over the internet, it has a black face on it, and that is what attracts you all to the stories and the videos that you make about it. And as a result, I have to be honest to say that you are not, as they say, you are not keeping it a buck. For if we were to truly do some investigation, and it doesn't really take that much, let us look at the Benny Hinn's of the world. Let us look at the Stewarts of the world. Let us look at the Bakers of the world. Let us look at the Swaggers of the world. Who could compare to those? Even if you were to say the Dollars, even if you were to say the Old Longs, if you were to say the Bryants, if you were to say perhaps pastors in Africa, but it is everywhere that the gospel is being preached. Okay? Many churches are preaching prosperity gospel. I don't believe in preaching prosperity gospel. I don't believe in prosperity preaching, but I will not deny the fact that it happens and that it is prevalent and that some preachers are doing that. But I will in no way, shape, or form agree that most preachers are teaching that, because I find that to be factually untrue. And I find it, in all honesty, rather hypocritical coming from all of the parties that had something to say about negative about the black church. I find it rather hypocritical with the young ladies who had something to say, Allie, Beth, and her guests. I find it rather hypocritical with the Be Smart and the Corey Minor. I find it rather hypocritical with the April Chapman, which is why all of you guys got called out this week. All of you guys got called out because everyone can see that you have that slanted view. You have that slanted view that you think is going to get you a lot of hits on it. And then Miss April turned around and said that she has no love for the black church. And in actuality, what you really mean is no, no, no. It's not that you don't have any love for the black church. Because for that statement to be made, if you made that statement that you have no love for the black church, according to the Bible, it don't say anything about the black church. So what you're really saying is that you don't have any love for the church at all. So you have no love for the church. You don't got to put no color on it. And those are just, that is your statements. But let us be correct about what is going on in the world. If we're going to diagnose prosperity preaching, then let us diagnose prosperity preaching from its official root. Let us diagnose prosperity preaching from where it really came from. Because you guys finally got caught with all of that jaded, with all of that foresighted criticism. Correct one, correct all. If you correct one, then correct all. Because race is irrelevant. It is all about the gospel. It is not about a color, because for every Todd that you have a Crick. For every Bryant that you have a Locke. And yet, the thing that I find most repulsive about the three of your videos is that you all missed the boat, and I am quite positive that you intentionally missed the boat because you're scared to say the quiet part out loud. Because you see, black prosperity churches, preachers, and doctrine, I can guarantee you that you put all of the black preachers together, all of their jets, all of their possessions, all of their perhaps millions, I doubt the billions, and compare that to their counterparts, I guarantee you the numbers will not add up on the side that you are saying is doing most of the prosperity preaching. You are saying black churches are doing most of the prosperity preaching, but I guarantee you that the majority of the prosperity preaching money is not in the black church. It ain't on the black side. But you see, you will not say that. That less than a tenth of the percent of the biggest prosperity movement ever. One church that you'll never speak about. There is one church that has as many members to this church as India. And India surpassed China for the largest population in the world. So one church has more members than the largest populated country in the world. One church who fought crusades, killed millions of people for cash and land. One church that I am told has banks in the bottom of it. One church that I am told has vaults in the bottom of it. One church that I am told has treasures in the bottom of the cellars. One church that is above the law. One church that has its own city and its own government inside of that city for that church. But that city is the church. It is not separate from that church. That city belongs to the church. One church. And yet you will never, ever discuss that church when it comes down to prosperity preaching, but you will go out of your way to blame black preachers, black churches, and black ministries for prosperity preaching. You will go out of your way to blame the person who is getting the crumbs when the whole loaf has been distributed from the top all the way down. You will convict the crumb eater. Convict the crumb eater and release the cake thief. You will arrest the man who has the knife in his hand, which is the black church, and you will release the people with the bazooka in their hand. Because you see, the elephant in the room that you all manage to always avoid, to step on an ant, the elephant in the room that you will never bring up, the elephant in the room that is so obvious, anyone can see it. And it is typical. But I will remind you that God is returning for a church. No race is mentioned. God says, be ye holy, not a denomination, not black, not white, no color, but be ye holy. And before you ever criticize prosperity preaching in a black church, before you ever criticize prosperity preaching anywhere, you first start at that Roman Catholic Church that has 1.4 billion members. Okay? All of your preachers together ain't got as many jets as that church got. All of your preachers together, prosperity preachers, all the black prosperity preachers ain't got as many acres as that church got. All of the black prosperity preachers together ain't got the amount of millions and billions that that church got. All of the black prosperity preachers will never, ever, 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 never, ever, never, ever, ever, ever have the influence that that church has. If you can open your mouth and say anything, Allie, Beth, April Chapman, and Corey Minor, about prosperity preaching, and not have the Roman Catholic Church be the first words out of your mouth, then what you are doing is just talking. Please like, share, and subscribe, because if you share the know, then the show will grow. And if you share the know, then the word will go. We're on a mission to make America righteous. We are on a mission to make the world righteous. God's holy word. So we need you guys. And as always, before I leave you, I would like to leave us once again with another verse for another day on this earth. And our verse for tonight, 1 Peter chapter 1 at verse 16. 1 Peter chapter 1 at verse 16. Because you see, it is oftentimes that I find myself so upset about black prosperity preaching, white prosperity preaching, uh, black church doing this, white church doing that, because at the end of the day, God is not coming back for the black church or the white church. We need to stop that. Hey, we need to stop that. 1 Peter chapter 1 at verse 16. And it reads on this wise. We'll go back to verse 15. But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation, because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. So I say to you again, can Christians disagree? Can the body of Christ have a disagreement amongst themselves and still be members of the same body? Absolutely. And respectfully, I disagree with my brothers and my sisters on this particular topic. May God bless you and keep you.